I see without seeing. To me, darkness is as clear as daylight. What am I?
Please! You're as blind as a bat!
Exactly.
Well, here we are. Chapter 6 of the DC Alliance podcast. My name is Greg, one of your hosts, and with me as always my partner in crime, Travis. How you doing tonight, buddy?
Doing pretty well, Greg. Happy belated 4th of July to you and all the American listeners. I think you had a vacation, you were saying. I didn't do much here. We celebrated Canada Day on the 1st, and we were out to the in-laws for a pool party. So that was kind of fun.
Okay.
But besides that, I've been catching up on some really good DC shows.
Yeah, it's good to go, man. I got the whole next week off work, and I've got stuff to catch up on and stuff to build and everything like that. But I did get to go to Hilton Head for 4 days with the family. It was a really fun time. Just got back last night, so I kind of spent last night relaxing. Today I kind of recharged and got into regular human mode. I wanted to ask you, what is Canada Day? I know I wished you a happy Canada Day. I think a day early because it was on my calendar, but I don't know what it is. Is it like
basically the years that kind of like that, like all the provinces came together to form a country type deal.
Okay. Does it happen to be that day? It just happens to be like 2 days before?
I think it is. I'm not 100% up on my Canadian history as my grade 9 course I took. It's kind of been wiped clean of my memory.
I hear you. Yeah, I don't remember a lot of stuff from 9th grade, at least nothing important. But that way, so I remember my life stuff. But yeah, man. Dude, we got great to be back. We got a ton of news this week. Well, not a ton of news. A few fun things to talk about. Lots of show questions. And of course, we're going to continue our review of Stargirl, which just keeps getting better, and Doom Patrol, the Sex Patrol, which very interesting episode. So let's get started with some news, man. Oh, you know what? Before we start with some news, let's go ahead and let everybody know once again we are part of the Geek Ultimate Alliance Network. That is your one-stop shop 5 days a week for just about everything you need. We got Marvel shows, DC shows, comic book shows, television, Star Wars, and what's the other one? A movie review show with Katie, Slice of Film. We're doing those 5 days a week, Monday through Friday. Come hang out with me and Travis on Tuesdays and Fridays, and they'll be your favorite days of the week, I promise. But that's about it. We got, what was it? We have patrons, right? Or Patreon account? Yeah. Check out our Patreon account. We have 2 tiers. $1, we can get the stuff ad-free, and $5, you get it ad-free and early, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Week early for superhero discussions, usually.
There you go. Good deal. So check us out. Give us a like, share, love, whatever you want to do. Write us a review, help spread the word. But without further ado, man, let's talk about some news.
Yeah.
What's going on in news this week, man? I was kind of unplugged for the last few days. You're usually more plugged in this anyway. I kind of find my news out from you most of the time.
Well, biggest story that I've seen is Ray Fisher, basically a couple days ago, tweeted out. First, he tweeted out a video, quote tweeted a video of him saying how Joss Whedon was great and came in and was the perfect person to pick the ball up and keep going with it, and replied on it and said, I wish to retract this entire statement. And people were wondering what that meant first, why are you doing that? Then the next day he tweeted out, Joss Whedon's on-set treatment of the cast and crew of Justice League was gross, abusive, unprofessional, and completely unacceptable. He was enabled in many ways by Jeff Johns and John Berg. Accountability is greater than entertainment.
Now, do you think that I remember him saying that back in the day, or not specifically saying that, but I do remember seeing all the stuff from that interview before, or where they had the whole panel up there. I'm wondering, do you think he said that just kind of like coach speak? He didn't want to torpedo the movie before it came out, and now that it's basically been torpedoed,
they're all contracted to promote the movie and be complimentary of the movie. Hell, just for example, George Clooney promoted Batman and Robin, and then he's there telling stories now of him being there, being like, yeah, I knew this was not going to be a good idea, when he was in there with the director and in the chair and in the suit, I mean. So, and after, I think it's could be his NDA maybe expired for Justice League. I don't know, or maybe they had to renegotiate something with Zack Snyder's Justice League being released that he was able to speak on this, because most of the people that were involved with Justice League are gone now in terms of top WB execs, and AT&T has taken over. So ultimately, I don't think that these people are fearing criticizing the past regime as much as they would if they were in that scenario. But also the climate today too. You have with Black Lives Matter movement, you have a black actor here talking about mistreatment on set. His entire story arc was cut out of the movie. When you look, actually, he was cut out of the movie. There was a lot of Silas Stone cut out of the movie. Everything with his mom was cut out of the movie. All of Iris West stuff was cut out of the movie. Like, there's a lot, and Ryan Choi. There's a lot of different cultures that aren't that were cut out of this movie, to be honest with you, Greg. So I can see him being frustrated with that too. But there's also rumors that Whedon was terrible to Gal Gadot and said that he wanted her to do the scene where Flash falls on her chest, and she was not having any of it.
Mm-hmm.
I read some reports where he said like he will end her career, because this was before Wonder Woman came out, right?
Right.
And was the hit that it was. And
No, I think Wonder Woman was before Justice League.
Yeah, but the way when they're shooting, they weren't shooting Justice League. Like, these are reshoots, right?
Oh,
I got you. And they weren't all together. But that's what people are saying. That some people that I've read like are saying that. I don't think it was that bad. I don't think, but I would assume they had differences creatively if he wanted her to do that gag, because it is her stunt double,
right,
in that shot. So I don't know. I think it's pretty bad. There's a lot of other things that have come to light about Joss Whedon in the past couple of years. Like, he basically wrote off Charisma Carpenter off of Angel because she got pregnant. And his Wonder Woman script is pretty terrible, like cringeworthy terrible for the movie that he wanted to helm. So his ex-wife, has also said some not too great things about him as well. But that could just be her saying it for her own benefit. But
right.
It is, some of the stuff has not been good. He's been completely silent. John Berg released a statement that was terrible. I don't know who in his team told him to release that sort of statement, where he basically says that the crust of it was that he didn't think that this happened. This definitely didn't happen, and then said something along the lines of Ray Fisher. I felt that he was angry that he didn't want to say "booyah," which is a well-known saying for Cyborg. And I'm like, no, it's just in the Teen Titans show, and like, it was a nod to that, but it was pretty tone deaf, his statements back. So I don't know. I guess we'll hear more from more cast and crew about this going forward. I think that'll get the ball rolling.
See, I'm definitely more interested to hear, because especially that Gal Gadot stuff, I'd like to hear from her what that. I don't know if whoever will or not. I don't see, of course, why, if it's something that was a really big deal and this is out there now, why she wouldn't say anything. But maybe it's just a publicity thing. I mean, we already know that Jason Momoa has come out, and he hasn't. I haven't seen him trash Whedon, but he's definitely supported Snyder, which in a way, talking about how much better this one is and how it's. I mean, he was a big cause for what was going on and why we got the Snyder Cut going out there. A big, navigator in those waters. No pun intended. But I haven't seen him come out and say anything else. I have heard all this stuff about Whedon in the last few days, and I mean, I don't want to say that none of it's true or all of it's true, but if this many people come out and say something, some of it's got to be true. I mean, there's no way it's all not true. They're not just going to start an alliance against Joss Whedon for no reason. So some of this stuff's got to be true, and based on the stuff he's done in the past with movies, I could see all of it being possible. The stuff he's done with his movies, the history from what I hear has happened with his wife and his personal relationship, the stuff we've seen him do from television shows, like you said with Angel. Like there's a lot of stuff that makes him look really, really bad in the situation. I guess if you've done stuff really bad, you should look bad. So I just wonder what the backlash is going to be for him with this.
Well, not only that, I implore people to, if you haven't heard much about this, go listen to Fat Man Beyond, Kevin Smith's podcast with Mark Bernard. And I don't listen to that normally anymore. I think I'm not as big of a fan of Mark Bernard, and just in some of his lines of thought for different movies and stuff like that.
Right.
But they had a really great discussion. It was like 25 minutes, 30 minutes long, talking about that at the end of the, I want to say 133 mark.
Okay.
I can't remember what I told the chat. That was a couple days ago now. But Kevin Smith details, and what makes me think it's credible is because he said everything in, I want to say at least a year ago, maybe could be longer, could be two. He said everything about Zack Snyder's 3-part plan that ended up happening because, Greg, he went on a visit to Rise of Skywalker when it was being filmed by JJ.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of the VFX people that were working on Rise of Skywalker worked on both Justice League's, Zack Snyder's, and Joss Whedon's. So he said that a VFX guy told, like the same VFX guy that told him about Zack Snyder's 3-movie plan, that we eventually found out that's actually what was supposed to happen. And told him about how the movie looked and how it looked so cool, and there was dark side and all this stuff. Also told him that Josh was terrible on set, that he would go around trashing Zack Snyder and Zack Snyder's cut of the movie a lot, and that it wasn't enabled by the higher ups. And Jeff Johns was on set a lot as well, from everything I've read. So I'm sure he knew that was going on. I'm sure probably they both laughed about it behind closed doors. Maybe Jeff wasn't as public about it, but there is a lot of cast and crew have some cringy stories, and I just wonder if they're going to come to light now that Ray Fisher took a jackhammer to the dam. I wonder if it's going to crack open and everything's just going to keep flooding, or will this be it? Will we not hear much about it going forward?
Yeah, I'm interested to see what's going on. Like I said, I'd like to see more cast members step up. Not necessarily, I'm not saying that I want to hear people trash Joss Whedon. I just want to hear more.
Just tell the truth.
Right, exactly. I'm not tired of hearing rumors about this. Like, if this happened, it'd be cool to know this happened. So that way, I kind of already have my opinion about Joss Whedon, anyway. I think we did a podcast for Super Civil Servants, I think about a year ago. And I think we were bringing up, we had a team up thing where we were bringing up different people we could team up and have the best battles. I think Nathan said, I can bring up somebody that can destroy the entire DC universe. And he was talking about a character, and I immediately thought Joss Whedon. So I already have my opinions about him. I feel like he did injustice to this movie and this franchise, and I feel like that's about to be righted. So I'm very, very happy with what's going on. But I would just like to know what's going on. And I don't want to see a man's career ended or something happen, but I feel like if you do something like that and you've been caught and people have admitted it and you can prove this kind of stuff, there should be some kind of action taken. You shouldn't be it's swept under the rug. We've seen it happen before with Hartley Sawyer, with James Gunn.
Bryan Singer, for example, there's nothing been done to him, and he's had some terrible accusations as well.
Really? Okay. I guess, it might not. So I guess when you make an Avengers successful movie, it's probably not going to pull up.
No, he might not direct again for 10 years. You don't know. I really enjoyed some of this stuff. I enjoyed a bit of Buffy the Vampire Slayer. I enjoyed the 2 Avengers movies he did. I think Avengers Age of Ultron gets a little bit too much crap for how good it is. I think it's a really good film.
Yeah.
But you got to be able to separate the actor or the artist from the art. Right. In this case. Right. And I don't think if any of this is true, I think he should be toast. But at the very least, I've got to sit back and wait because I don't like to judge without getting all the full context. So I'm hoping more people are going to come forward and fill in that blank canvas, so to speak.
Right. Oh, yeah. Yeah, but that's really all the kind of stuff we have out there. I know Ray Fisher's kind of taking the gloves off. He's not holding anything back. He's throwing it out there, and he, rightfully so. If he feels offended, you have the right to do that. I think I can't remember who was we were talking in the chat, and it was about Gal Gadot not feeling comfortable about that scene, the boob in the face scene. And the bottom line is, if she doesn't feel comfortable doing it, then she shouldn't have to do it, and it shouldn't have to be in there. And obviously, from what we understand, she didn't do it, and she was kind of VFX'd on there. So. I'd be willing to bet you find out a lot of interesting things that happen behind the scenes and behind closed doors in Hollywood. But we'll never know a lot of that stuff. We just know what the actors and the producers and directors come out there and tell us happens. So, all right, what else, man? I know we have a couple other things.
Well, I have something for you that I didn't tell you about.
Okay, hit me with it.
Scott McLennan, Scott DC27 on Twitter, dropped a little thread a couple days ago about Zack Snyder answered a lot of questions on Vero. I don't know if you've seen any of it.
Not in the last few days I hadn't.
Okay, so I'm just going to read you some of the questions he answered and get some of your thoughts.
Definitely.
What you think about them. Assuming that your cut of Justice League somehow got released back in 2017, how different would it have been from the one that we're going to get in 2021? I mean, have you made certain compromises in order to release your cut, or are we going to see exactly what you intended it to be? No compromise is what he said there.
I did see that. I saw that earlier today. Yeah.
2017, I'll compromise.
Yeah, I saw that, and I'm happy with that. Let the man have his vision. Let the man put it out there, because I feel like he's got a great mind. He's a great storyteller. I love the way his visual effects. I love everything about what Zack Snyder does. And of course, I love Batman vs Superman and Man of Steel. I love the way he was going. So I definitely want to see his version, no compromise, because I think everybody's going to love it.
Hey, boss, want to break? Also, just side note, I think it's really weird that people call him boss. Just for my own, I think it's a weird name, some of the names they call him, but I'm super excited for Zack Snyder's Justice League, so
yeah,
I could care less. Hey, boss, want to break Twitter and confirm Steppenwolf has the original design in your JL? And he was like, is that not well known? Because I think he confirmed that before. One question about the nightmare scene. One question about the nightmare. Why does Superman have the red and blue suit and not the black one? When he succumbs to the anti-life, he returns to the red and blue suit.
Okay.
In the nightmare scene.
Okay.
So that's evil Superman.
Nice. Telling you, dude.
Love Batflick. I was wondering where he got a trench coat from. He was probably pulled it from some dead guy. Asked if he was working on VFX. If yes, so deep in it.
Nice.
Sir, will Jonathan Kent appear one more time in your JL movie? He gave a winky face.
Gotcha.
It will be awesome to see come together playing in the first trailer for Zack Snyder's Justice League. It would bring back amazing memories before the 2017 disaster, and he said, I have something better.
Nice.
There is, I want to say the Green Lantern one, yeah. First of all, thanks for everything, Zack Snyder. I just have one question. What did you mean about Unite the Seven? A Green Lantern is coming, ? And he gave a winky face.
Nice.
So
that'd be nice, man. I'm so excited.
Scott has a thread out with all of his answers. It's really great to look through. So I'll retweet that again. Or actually, I haven't. So I'll retweet that thread out, and you can find that on Twitter from me at Travis_156. It's a great thread. I don't want to go through the entire thing here. I just want to give Greg's thoughts on a couple of them, especially that Green Lantern one. So I saved that one for the end. Just give it a look. It's great. I love when Zack Snyder goes on an answering spree, and me and Greg are both super excited for Zack Snyder's Justice League.
Oh yeah. Actually, I did hear a few of those today. I didn't hear it directly from where you were talking about, but I guess I just saw them passing through over Twitter. I saw the Steppenwolf stuff. I saw the no compromises for this movie. I didn't see. Well, I mean, we heard the rumors about the Green Lantern before, and especially about Ryan Reynolds coming in and doing that cameo. My thoughts on that. As much as I'd love to see that, I love him in that position. If he's going to be Hal Jordan just for a cameo, I don't want him to be in there for that. If he could play any other Green Lantern, that'd be cool. I want to see Hal Jordan on the big screen. Trying to think. The suit, that's pretty cool to know. Even though I still do want to see the black suit, which I know we're going to get to see at least some of it. I'm just excited, man. I'm so excited this stuff's coming to light, and I cannot wait for next year for this to come out. I'm probably gonna take the day off work when the first day the first episode drops. So it's super exciting, man, and I'm very, very happy for Snyder. I'm happy that the fans have pushed this forward to be something that he can accomplish and finish. And Warner Brothers is going to be eating a ton of crow whenever this gets done, and they could have had so much out of this.
I don't think they will, because I think it's the perfect storm, Greg, because no one would want to produce that if they had a hand in stopping that. So all the people that did have a hand in changing it, and all the people that didn't like his vision, are not with Warner Brothers anymore.
That's a good
They're
point.
all gone.
Yeah.
So I think if AT&T don't buy Warner Brothers, we don't get this movie at all, because they ultimately had control. So I think that this doesn't get made if it's just Warner Brothers on its own. So I don't think there's going to be I think there's going to be a lot of people thanking AT&T, to be honest with you.
Yeah. I mean, I am.
And subscribe to that HBO Max.
Oh, definitely.
And I think the last piece of news that we got here is Stargirl is going to be renewed for season 2. It was announced today that it will. It was renewed by the CW. It will migrate from the DC universe to become a network original series.
The only thing I'm worried about with that, they're not going to make it like 23 episodes with a break right in the middle, are they?
I don't know. There's been nothing said about that. They may want to do that, Greg. I hope not as well. I think it's great with a lower episode count. I hope that they put the same amount of money into it. I hope they put enough money into it that they can put it on HBO Max as well. Kind of like, I think Batwoman is on there. You have HBO Max?
Sure.
I don't. So
I actually don't have HBO Max yet. I'm saving that until till closer to Snyder's.
Well, people I'd like to know, I thought that Batwoman would be on there, so I'm super curious about that. I thought I seen that it was advertised, so this could be a second show, and it gets more money going on HBO Max, I would imagine. So, if it's running currently while I'm there, so I don't want the budget to suffer at all, like we see in shows like Legends, especially with them using the JSA. I find with a teamed up show and CW budget, it results in a lot of people with cool powers not coming around.
And a lot of filler episodes.
Yeah.
A lot of filler episodes.
Supergirl, I'm not going to say, don't you dare besmirch Arrow on this podcast. We have a no besmirching Arrow policy.
Arrow was one of the exceptions. Like you said, it did have its couple of seasons that were kind of started to kind of dip.
One season.
It came back 1.5, but it came back up. Of course, I still didn't finish it. I watched Crisis, but I still didn't finish it. But I want to go back.
The first half of season 6 isn't that good, and the latter half of season 7 isn't that good. Season 5 is amazing.
I could be wrong then. Maybe
season 4 is not good, even though I can pick out a couple episodes like John Constantine's episode, Vixen's episode, and the crossover as some good points to that season. I can't really argue against the whole season storyline being kind of trash.
I wish everybody who was listening could see Travis's face when he talks about Arrow, because he looks like a kid in a candy shop. Like it doesn't matter like what you're talking about with Arrow. He starts smiling and he gets happy. He lifts up in his chair. He starts talking with his hand. It's so funny.
I can't talk about Crisis because you see a sad face.
I hear you.
And I went into that with the exact same excitement. But yeah, I really think that this might spell the end for DC Universe, to be honest with you, Greg.
Okay. Well, DC Universe as a whole, or just as having new content?
As new content, I think it may repurpose itself as a comic reader, which maybe, just maybe, international fans will be able to purchase the app as a comic reader. Just maybe. That would be awesome. I think that they really missed the boat there with coming into other countries. I know they said they were going to come in Canada really quickly when it launched, and then that didn't happen. So I guess they couldn't get the content back that they wanted to put on there because of licensing. But same thing now, we don't have access to HBO Max, so I don't really think much of that either.
Okay.
But that's more, I think our laws need to change. I don't want to get into that on the podcast. But yeah, I think that it might end this original content. I really think, because there's been rumors of Harley Quinn's next season going on HBO Max.
Right.
So I think that Titans really needs to have a good, solid third season.
Just a finale. They've had pretty good seasons. They just
Not
need to
even
end it the right way.
They need to have but they need to have a really, really good third season. Like a really good from start to finish third season. Really structured storyline, smart episodes, smart decisions by the cast, like not written to stand up and watch somebody die. Like that was just, you could have had it many other ways for her to die, but the way you wrote that was just terrible.
Yeah, bring Donna Troy back. Spoilers.
And the way they
bring
cut
Donna Troy
apart the first season because they were going to have a second season. So frustrating.
The way they did the second season, it seems like the first episode of the second season should have been the finale of the first season.
Yeah, well, it was.
You know?
They cut up the episode in half, and just thought that was a terrible decision. So I think they really need a solid season, and if they have a really solid season that's critically like a high bar, high ratings from critics, and it gets popular because it's on multiple things. It's on Netflix here in Canada. Like they can get that show out to multiple. I'm sure it's on something for England as well, and Europe, and so on and so forth. I'm sure that's definitely a show with 2 seasons that definitely gets playing time on Netflix, so you can parse that show out to other like avenues. But I really feel that if it has a really solid season, it may get transport to HBO Max, which could get us that show like for several more seasons going on forward, which I'm afraid if it doesn't have a good season this season, it's toast. And I'm really enjoying it, so I hope that doesn't happen.
See, I haven't personally seen Harley Quinn yet, but I can just, for some reason in my mind, I just imagine Titans being a better show to put on HBO Max than Harley Quinn, just in my opinion. But I can't judge you because I haven't seen it yet. So.
Oh, Greg, it's such a good show.
Is it?
Really
I've heard
funny.
good things. Yeah.
The first episode or two kind of felt like it was trying to be
pushed
more
humor.
More of a like aggressive rated R humor before anything else. And then after that, it started to settle into its groove, and by the end of the season, it was perfect. And then the whole second season was at that same tone and level.
Okay.
And I thought it was fantastic. It's a must watch in my opinion.
I wonder if there's a DC animated podcast we could listen to that might cover it one day. I don't know.
Well, maybe you might get on the poll. Who knows?
We'll have to see.
But yeah, I think CW is the perfect place for Stargirl if it doesn't chimp on the budget. I think that's the perfect tone for that network.
All right. Well, real quick, that's about all the news we have. But before we go into the news, I want to go over a couple of rumors I've heard, and I just want to hear yes or no from you about DC fandom if you think this is going to be there.
Okay.
I said these are all rumors. Some I have no validity in it. It's actually just off a Reddit page, and all it says unverified. So just when I hear it or you hear it, let me know if you think yes, we're getting this. First, look at a teaser trailer for Matt Reeves' Batman woman with Catwoman and the Riddler in costume.
Maybe.
Okay.
Don't know for sure, but I think we're going to see something from what they have filmed already from the Batman.
Okay. New trailer for Wonder Woman 84 giving us a first look at Kristen Wiig's Cheetah.
Yes.
I think that's happening. Yeah.
Oh, 100%.
Casting announcements and official release date for Aquaman 2. James Wan's involvement as a director and writer confirmed, and the plot will be given. It's still far away, a long ways out.
But they're done filming. Oh, Aquaman 2? I tell you,
yeah.
So sorry. Yeah, I think that'll be. They don't have any filming done. So yeah, I think that'll be it.
Okay. First official trailer for James Gunn's Suicide Squad showing off the entire cast.
Yeah, maybe we might not even see a couple, but I think this will be the first trailer. They're done. Like I said, they're done shooting.
Okay. Casting announcements for Black Adam movie and plot points.
Maybe. I think we're going to get The Rock into suit.
Yeah, I was going to say, The Rock's going to be there. I think there's going to be some Black Adam stuff. I don't know if we're going to get an entire casting announcement and the movie plot points. But I think we're going to hear some stuff about Black Adam.
Oh, we're going to hear some stuff, yeah. Well, it's confirmed that it's going, so that's kind of...
Official announcement, David Ayer's cut of Suicide Squad is coming for sure. Whether the announcement is at DC... Oh, never mind. Okay. Sorry. That was just one that was not about DC fandom. But do you think we'll get an official announcement that it is officially coming, Suicide Squad?
I hope so, but I have no idea.
Okay. Details of casting announcement regarding the Justice League Dark series on HBO Max. That said, unconfirmed rumors of Keanu Reeves reprising his role as Constantine. I heard a lot about that today.
Yeah, but no, I'm not.
No? Okay.
No.
A cyborg project starting Ray Fisher as Victor Stone in the works for HBO Max.
I don't know, because you have Doom Patrol on HBO Max already that has
You don't
Cyborg.
want two cyborgs, yeah.
I
Well,
Greg, if I say no, okay, just want to preface this, listeners. If I say no, that doesn't mean I don't want it. I want
just
all
what do you
things
really
DC.
think is going to happen? I got you.
Yeah.
I got you.
I want it. I'll just say that. I want it.
Okay. Here's the big one for me. Official announcement regarding the return of Ben Affleck as Batman for a Batfleck project on HBO Max. Affleck will return with his original script for the Batman movie he was supposed to star in with Joe Manganiello's Deathstroke and Jared Leto's Joker.
No.
No?
And
Yeah. I'd like it, but I don't think it's going to happen either.
I want it so bad,
it's not
but
gonna
no,
happen.
not
Yeah.
happening.
Let's see.
Please be wrong. Please be wrong.
Yeah, please be wrong. Let's see. Casting announcements for the Flash movie. One of the biggest being Michael Keaton reprising his role for Bruce Wayne Batman. This will officially establish the multiverse in the DCCW, and it'll have Michael Keaton as Batman to start a new Batman Beyond movie storyline in the DCCW.
CW?
DCEU, excuse me.
Okay.
They're all so confusing sometimes.
Yes.
Okay. Zack Snyder official Justice League trailer showing off never before seen footage, so people know this movie is a completely different film, with Steppenwolf's original scarier look from Batman vs Superman.
I'm gonna say no, just because I don't know. Let me finish this one, because I think it's not gonna be all never before seen, because I think that Zack Snyder's gonna show something at Justice Con.
Okay.
And maybe we'll get to see like a minute of a 3-minute trailer at Justice Con.
Okay.
And so it might be footage we've seen before, so I can't say yes.
I think we're going to get footage. I don't think we're going to get a first official trailer. I think we might get a 30-second teaser, but I don't consider a teaser a trailer really.
Oh,
so
I think we're getting a trailer.
You think so? Of completely original footage?
Yes.
Okay.
Maybe not. Maybe some stuff we've never seen before.
Yeah, could be. And then the last one is Secret Movie 1 and Secret Movie 2. And the Secret Movie 1 is from what this rumor I'm reading here is going to be a Satana movie, which I've heard a lot about, and then another one being a Justice League Dark movie.
I hope so. That could be the case if they are, yes, but I don't think so. I think that a lot of this today is just smoke and mirrors that came in today.
Like I said, this is just a ton of rumors compiled together, just trying to see if maybe, and some of it, like you said, I would love to see a lot of it. Some of it may be true, some of it may not, but I don't think a lot of it is going to be true or completely accurate, but there's a lot of things that would be really cool to see. It's just, we're going to find out in about, a month and almost 20 days, a month and 19 days? No, a month and 17 days, the 22nd of August, right?
I want to tell the people, when the trades put out something, then yes, you can take it to the bank. But Mark Hughes' film has a great thread he put out today regarding the news that the rumors that Justice League going to have a Justice League Rebirth film and stuff. Just saying that these kind of nonsense rumors have been going around for the last 3 years. So people just use them to generate interest, to get people to click on their sites, and don't do any fact checking behind that. It gets really frustrating. It's kind of very similar to how sports talk shows just say random things, come up with random topics.
Skip Bayless.
And Shannon Sharp and Stephen A. Smith and Max Kellerman, everybody, there are ones that are way more extreme, Skip Bayless, than the rest. But I think it's the same thing here. We Got This Covered puts out 75 trash stories a day just for people to click on them. So it just all depends on who the official sources are. So I just implore people. There's that thread. I tweeted it out. I think it's great. It's a good breakdown of how people are getting suckered into some of these comic book sites.
Yeah. Well, and like I said, that's why I led that last part with this is all unverified stuff that I've seen rumors for. This is all rumors, but the good thing about that is that means people are talking, man. People are interested, even if it's somebody comes up with an idea and puts it out there and it takes off and it's just a rumor. Somebody's thinking about this kind of stuff, man. Somebody's having a good time with it. Somebody is really, really turning that idea factory in their head, and they're trying to get some stuff out there. And there may be some validity, some of it, probably not to a lot of it, but it's interesting to see, at least in my opinion. So, you got any more news, man?
No, we just got questions, Greg.
Good deal. Well, I'll tell you what, let's go ahead and take a break real quick, and then we'll come back and answer some questions, and then we'll go straight into TV show review. Sound good?
Yeah.
All right. All right, and we're back. So let's go ahead. We put out. Sorry, I put it out kind of late. I know last week when we were on the show, me and you said that anytime you guys have a show question, just ask us. We record on Mondays, so anytime you guys have a show question throughout the week, just let us know something you want us to talk about. But I think it was like 5 hours ago I put out just, hey, anybody got any questions? Let me know. And then all of a sudden we just got a bunch of hits. Bam, 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 bam. So I'm just going to kind of go in the order in which I received them in. And the order which I got the first one in was from our boy Walt Gator. Always doing a fantastic job giving us questions. And this was the one that I had to think the most about because I went really, really deep with this one. I don't want to say that because I go really deep on a lot of things. It gets kind of boring, but this one's not as boring. So his question is, if DC wanted to do another crossover between their animated shows and went to you, seeking you or I directly to be in charge of a Young Justice Teen Titans crossover animated show, what route/story would you go with, and who would be the antagonist? Do you want to take this one first? Or you want me to do it?
I can go first. From both the shows, like the Teen Titans show and the Young Justice show.
I think he means a crossover between the two.
Yeah, no, it's like from the shows, not comic.
Yeah, just from the animated. Yep.
That's after the cough anyway. I would hope that first of all we would condense the Young Justice crowd a little bit because it's gotten pretty expanded over the last couple of years. I would do Wally going to another Earth and having that Earth be the Earth of the Titans.
Okay.
And you could actually like set it up so that the Titans are in crisis fighting Deathstroke, who is a main villain in their universe, and have the other Young Justice crowd come over and help them fight him.
Yeah.
You could actually build to have you thinking that Deathstroke is the main villain, like their Deathstroke, but ultimately it would lead to fighting Trigon again, Raven's father.
Okay.
Because that was a big ending for Titans. I think that having Young Justice there, you could really get into that, and they're villains for Young Justice crowd as well. So maybe you want to bring over their counterparts from the Young Justice Earth, but I really think that it would be great. I know we haven't seen Trigon, sorry, but it would be great to have two Deathstrokes fighting two versions.
That would be pretty cool.
That was crazy. I think that it would be great. And we also seen Deathstroke and Young Justice held his own pretty well against like metahumans like Metamorpho.
Mm-hmm.
I was
he
really
always
surprised.
Yeah, so, he always holds his own.
Like they made him really well, so I think that would be a great little crossover between two of them.
Okay. I have two. I have one that I pulled from a story, like a comic book story, that I think would be a great way to cross these two over. And it's actually a crossover in the comics between these two that I would like to see in an animated movie. And then one that I think you could make into an animated show that's just kind of off the top of my head. The one off the top of my head is I'd like to see a story with Blackfire as the antagonist. And give me a situation where Blackfire's done something and she's come to Earth, she's killed Starfire, and you bring together the Teen Titans and Young Justice, and they're going to avenge her death. But I want it to be on how do you pronounce it? Taramon? Is that her home? Their planet?
Yeah.
Yeah. Have it be
so.
there, and be there to avenge Starfire's death. You could go a lot of different ways with this one. You could mix a lot of different characters up, and it would give you a different setting. It'd be going to space, going somewhere other than Acropolis. So that would be kind of cool. I like the characters too. I think this is kind of the direction they're going with the Titans show, the live action show, bringing Blackfire into it be the villain of next season. The way they kind of set it up at the end of the last season, wouldn't you say? They're definitely setting up for that.
Oh yeah, they said that was the last shot.
Yeah, so I think that's kind of the way they're going with that. I think that'd be a really cool animated show. You could do a lot more in the animated world with that than you could live action. We're on a way lower budget. And then if I was going to do pull one from a story, there's a Young Justice Teen Titans story crossover called Graduation Day. It's a 3-issue arc that came out in 2003, and this story was actually it was the story that broke up Young Justice and the Teen Titans and then brought you the Titans and the Outsiders. It's only a 3-part story, so it's not a super long story, but it's another version where Donna Troy dies in the story. She has a vision at the beginning of her fighting and and dying in the fight, and that's actually the vision. That the vision comes true in the end. She's actually killed. There's a Superman robot that has all the powers of Superman except for invulnerability. Metamorpho is a villain in there. There is what's the name of the other? I had it just a second ago, and somebody's gonna Indigo. I keep wanting to say Indigo, but it's not it. Anyway, it's a pretty cool story. It's a way they have transferred that they ended one regime of these groups, brought them to another, and started out a whole story. And I think actually the Titans and the what was the other one I just said? The Titans and excuse me, I went from Teen Titans to Titans and Outsiders are the storyline since 2003 that it's been running with. So that was the point where those teams were formed and split up, and it was a 3-issue arc. I think that'd be a really, really cool animated movie. Because I feel like with as a 3-story comic book arc, you could make that into a show, maybe like an 8 or 9 episode show, and probably have a really good time doing it. But it'd be a better hour-and-a-half movie, and I think it'd be something that'd be really cool to see on screen. So those are my 2 answers for that one. So next question was from Legendary Bearded Geek, another great fan of the show. What's up, man? Yeah. He says fan cast 3 new DC characters, and who would they be? Who would they be? Who would they be, and who would you cast as far as the characters and who would be their positions? And the second question is, with the rumors of Zatanna being the next movie coming out, because I guess he heard that rumor true, who would you cast as Zatanna? And I cheated on the 3 new characters part a little bit, because I just went with straight Lanterns. I said Hal Jordan, Jon Stewart, Jessica Cruz, because we haven't seen them, and I'm assuming he means live action, because he brought up Zatanna, so I'm assuming he means live action. We haven't seen these 3 live action. Of course, we've seen Hal Jordan, but I'm talking about in the new continuity in DCEU. So I want to see Hal Jordan, Jon Stewart, Jessica Cruz in the Lantern Corps movie. I want to see Justin Hartley play Hal Jordan. I want to see Sterling K. Brown play Jon Stewart, and I want to see Felicity Jones play Jessica Cruz.
Nice.
Perfect castings, perfect team up right there. It's a great way to start that Green Lantern franchise out, in my opinion at least. And then for Zatanna, I went a couple different ways with this too, because I didn't know if it depends on where they go. Do you want an older version or a younger version? So I gave a couple answers to this. There's an actress named Sarah Jeffrey. She plays on a Descendants television show, or Descendants movie series, the Disney series. I've got 2 girls, so I've seen a lot of this stuff. She's 23 years old, and she also plays in CW's Charmed as the character Maggie on Charmed, which I'm not familiar with that, but I'm not, internet will tell you anything you need to know about it. She looks like she'd play the role really well. I think that Camila Mendez, she's 26 years old. She's Veronica on Riverdale. I don't know if you've ever seen Riverdale or not, but she's the one who plays Veronica on Riverdale. She would be a good casting for that role. And then I think if you're going to go young, if you want to do like a young version of Zatanna, do Daphne King, X-23. She's 15 now, and I think that would be a really good casting for a young Zatanna. She's got the chops. I think she could do it. That would be a really, really good thing for live action. I'd like to see her in there too. So what about you, man?
That's not bad, right? Ooh, well, I would, first of all, I'd do the question as Jackie Earl Haley.
Okay.
From Rorschach Glory.
Okay.
I want the Reverse Flash to be Matthew McConaughey.
Oh, that's
interesting.
Matthew
McConaughey.
Okay, that's interesting. All right.
And I'm just gonna cop out and say I'd like to see Armie Hammer as Green Lantern, Hal Jordan.
That's not a cop out. He would do a good job in the role, I think. He's been passed over for a lot of major DC roles. I think he's going to land one eventually. I kind of hope he does. He deserves one. But all right, good answers, man. What about
another character I would love to see, Dr. Fate. I don't have a person in mind for him because I mostly see the costume when I think about Dr. Fate. Mm-hmm. So I really hope to see him in live action one day. And as for Zatanna, I would probably choose Alexandra Daddario, maybe.
Where's she from?
She was in Baywatch. She was in
Baywatch the movie?
Yeah.
Or I was gonna say
the Rock movie.
The show's pretty old. So yeah, the movie I can understand. Okay.
Texas Chainsaw Massacre, Percy Jackson's little story run.
Those are actually.
She was
movies.
in True Detective. That's where I first saw her. Was in True Detective, and she was pretty good in that.
Okay.
She's just a young actress that I think would be perfect as Zatanna.
There you go. Okay. I could see all that happening. Once again, all rumors. And I think when I was looking online for the biggest fan casting right now for Zatanna, it was Emily Clark. I'm not sure where she's from, but like that's the name
Game
I
of
saw the
Thrones.
most. Is it? Okay, that's
Yeah.
probably why I don't know it. So, yeah,
I
it's
cannot believe you have not watched Game of Thrones.
I watched the first episode and then I've never had HBO. So but I
So
watched
you
the
mean
first
tell
episode.
me when that kid gets pushed out your window, you don't want to keep on watching?
I did, but I wanted to watch it with my wife and she wasn't watching with me and we haven't had a chance to pick up on it yet, so.
And I just sent you a picture of the person I would like to play.
Okay.
Zatanna.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I can see that. I can definitely see that. Okay, cool. And then Nathan, homeboy Nathan, Super Civil Servants from Star Wars Alliance podcast. He's all over the place. He's going to be on here with us soon one time, sure. I'm sure. Send us a couple questions. I can't answer this first one, so I need you to take the lead with this first one. The first one is you find out Young Justice and Gargoyles are doing a crossover story. You get to give the basic skeleton outline of the story. What's the basic premise / villains and heroes you'd like to utilize? As you all know, I'm not very well versed in animated. That's why I'm doing the animated show, is to get better at it. Don't remember Gargoyles. Don't think I've ever seen it. Watched it regularly. So I tried to look up some Gargoyle stuff to see if I could scrap an answer up, just to get the plot, the summary of what the show was about. I started to come up with some things. I was like, nah. I was like, it's just not fair to do that. So you are a big Gargoyles fan, though, right?
Yes, but it has been a very long time since I
Okay.
have watched Gargoyles, which
Okay.
is not playing good for this question.
I know that's why I put it in there. He's like, I'll make these guys sweat. He sent me a message like,
Yeah.
you better think about my questions for a little while. You only got a little while to think about them. So
Yeah, and I'm sorry, Nathan, about that. I'd probably. Who am I crossing over with Gargoyles again?
you're crossing over Young Justice.
Oh, everything's with Young Justice.
I know.
I'd probably do the main group from Young Justice yet again, and I'd have them I'd have the Gargoyles cross over to them, and have, can we do this at any point in time through the seasons of Gargoyles?
I'm
Like, could I
guessing
do
he
it from
doesn't. Yeah,
season
he doesn't have
one?
any. Yeah, he doesn't
Because
have
I would
any.
have Dimana and Xanthos combine science and sorcery again, and resurrect Goliath's brother, Coldstone, who has a complete disdain for Goliath. I bring them over to the Young Justice universe to work with the Light,
Okay.
and have Goliath and them come over as well,
I understood that reference. Okay.
chasing after them. I don't know how they would possibly be able to follow them, but we figure it out.
Oh, yeah.
Some sort of and of me doing magic. But I think that would be the way to go. And because the Light was I'd do it from both their first seasons, and I'd have both their main. I had some groups members of the Light fighting against some members, fighting with Coldstone against some of the Gargoyles and some of the Young Justice original, Robin, Aqualad type team.
Good deal. I can see that. I mean, like I said, I haven't seen Gargoyles, and it's either been a super long time since I've seen them, I don't remember them, or I've never seen it enough where I could say I've seen the show. But it sounds like a pretty cool show.
The second season's quite a slog because it was basically a lot of fans call it Gargoyles World Tour, because they go around to all kinds of parts of the world encountering different Gargoyles. Kind of ruining the uniqueness of the Gargoyles.
Nobody could see that eye roll at me when you said that.
Yeah, it's completely ruined the unique. It'd be like if the Ninja Turtles went around through all the world and found more Ninja Turtles.
They tried to do that.
Yeah,
There was
fifth turtle. We're not talking about that. We've never talked about that on the show ever.
Did you ever watch that series?
Yes,
Oh
I
my
watched that
God.
thinking it was going to be good, Greg.
Oh my God.
I was the people they were marketing to, and they failed so miserably and so hard that I gave up on Ninja Turtles until I want to say 2007 or 6 when I found it came out of the movie network. I watched the original 3 again. That show made me give up the Ninja Turtles. I stopped
Dumpster
completely.
fire. Dumpster
That was how bad that was, and that was them earning me back because I thought it was going to be different than the third Ninja Turtles movie, which was also complete trash. But this is DC Alliance. Unless someone sent in a question combining DC characters with Ninja Turtles, then I will have it with Ninja Turtles because I can go with it for a while.
DC does some work with Ninja Turtles. There's some
They do.
Batman and Ninja Turtles runs and stuff like
Great.
that. So, all right, Nathan's second question. I had to ask him about this one too because I was confused about this question by what he meant by the wording in it. He said, "Give me your top three. Give me your top three strange bedfellow team ups." So if you don't necessarily have three from the comic runs or animation, who are three strange bedfellows you'd like to see together? And knowing Nathan's mindset, I thought that he meant hookups. So I had to ask him. I was like, "Do you mean people that have like hooked up in comic books?" And he was like, "No, like bedfellows, like team ups, just team ups, strange odd team ups." And I didn't go with three that I've seen that I've liked. I just created three new ones. So do you want to take this one first? Or you want me to do it?
I will. You can go first.
Okay. I created three new ones, and the way I like to look at team ups, what I think is really, really cool, and I guess with bedfellows, like as Nathan puts it, is I like to have villains and heroes together. And then they either have to be polar opposites or the exact same because it works well together like that. So I put my first one is Swamp Thing and Poison Ivy. I think that would be a really, really cool team up. My next one is Cyborg and Brainiac. I think they could probably wreak havoc across the universe, the two of those. And then Superman and Ares, and these all could have been together at some point in time, but not in something that I've seen. So those are three for me that I think would be pretty interesting because they're villains and heroes. They're either exact opposites. I mean, Superman is, all about light and justice. Ares is the god of war. Cyborg and Brainiac, they're both very, very technologically advanced. They're both about knowledge. They could dominate a lot. And, of course, Swamp Thing and Poison Ivy. If they would have just had one more Swamp Thing in the Apocalypse War, they could have easily defeated Darkseid. Because, you had the whole Justice League trying to take out that one thing, and then Swamp Thing just goes and takes out the one on the other side of the world by himself. No problem. Just need another Swamp Thing. So he's pretty badass. But those are my three bedfellow team-ups. What about you, bud?
I'm going to put my superhero discussion spin on this.
Okay.
I'm going to take three groups that I thought were odd pairings in the show Justice League Unlimited. And I'm going to start off by saying Batman, Orion, and the Flash.
Okay.
So that was a very odd pairing that I really ended up enjoying.
Okay.
I thought that Orion was going to be just as hard-headed as Batman and just as grumpy as Batman, but Batman reined him in. It was a great episode. I look forward to watching it with you one day. Second one, I'm going to cheat a little bit and say a group of four. Double Date is the episode, and Green Arrow and Black Canary are with Huntress and the Question.
Okay.
I think that they're an odd group to get together. Huntress is a vigilante, killing people. She's kicked out of the Justice League at this point. And she used the Question to help her track down the person that killed her parents. And I don't want to spill anything else, but it's hilarity ensues. And I just gotta say, probably the third group would be from Wake to Dead, Dr. Fate, Grundy, and Hot Girl.
Okay.
Grundy is woken and given far too much power, and Hot Girl is basically the one with him the entire time, but Dr. Fate plays a crucial role as well, and there are another three random grouping of heroes that I never thought. Well, Grundy's not even a hero, except he's basically made into an anti-hero in this episode.
Right. Okay. Yeah, he actually said to me, he said, specify that, yes, you can use villains in this too. It makes it more fun.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, cool. But yeah, there you go. Like I said, I made up three, pulled three from there. So we kind of gave you 6 good answers there, I feel like. Appreciate it, Nathan. And then we got one more question from Brent.
We're not going to go with the other question there from Travis Snell? I'm just joking.
We can.
One. It's a gag one.
Yeah.
We don't want to go into a 20, 30-minute discussion here.
Right.
Yeah.
So from Brent, he asked us, he said, what do we think about the Stargirl moves moving to CW? And he posed the question on Fans Without Borders about, has the DC CW grown too large? So you kind of hit on this a little bit ago. You kind of already answered it, but give a little more elaboration on what you were talking about how much you like it.
Stargirl?
Yeah, it's no Stargirl moving to DC to the DCCW.
I would rather it be with HBO Max. I mean, completely honest with
Okay.
you, because on Earth 2 is separate right now. But ultimately, they're going to encounter. I think that the tone for Stargirl fits. The only reason I want to make it known, the only reason I don't want to go to CW is I'm afraid for budget reasons.
Okay.
Like we won't see the JSA in all its glory. We won't see people using their powers as much because there's not as much devoted to the budget. Like Flash suffers a nice bit from that. And same thing with Supergirl at times, their effects. And I don't want Stargirl to go that way. But like I love the DCCW. I think that this will be a good addition to it. What Brent was talking about it getting too big, there can be some credence to that because this CW is basically dependent on these shows now, and I find that stretching them out over a longer period of time is hurting the longevity of the shows.
Mm-hmm.
Like to be able to just tell story arcs, just one story arc, through a whole season is really difficult when you're telling it through 22 or 23 episodes because you got to be like, why have the heroes not noticed so far? How have they not put this together or that together? And you get a lot of filler, which is what I don't want. Stargirl is at a perfect amount of episodes. I thought Arrow ended this season with 10 episodes, and it was fantastic. There was no filler. It was all quality. I find that more so with Black Lightning, there isn't much filler. That's not on quite as many episodes as the other ones, but I think it's 16 maybe. Could be a little less. I think this last season was 16. Yeah. So I don't know. The first season was 13.
Right.
So I think that could have partly. The last two seasons were 16. So I'm hoping it stays low like that because the quality for Black Lightning I think is really high.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't want them doing 22, 23. It also burns out the actors and actresses.
Yeah.
But I mean, just for Arrow, for example, if majority of season 7 could have been the prison story arc of him being stuck in prison and eventually getting out and all that, instead of having to stretch it the second half being about his sister, and that didn't hit very good for most people. So I just think it could be fixed. A lot of problems could be fixed with these shows by cutting down the amount of episodes but keeping the financial commitment at what it is, so the budgets are same thing, because a lot of times you hear, oh, there wasn't much special effects used in this episode, so we're going to go crazy with it in the next episode or the next couple episodes. So I don't want that. I want to, if you want to be able to use effect, you can use an effect. So
right. Well, I kind of agree with you right there to a certain extent. I don't like the idea of Stargirl going to DCCW because, leading to the second part of the question, I do feel like the DCCW is too crowded. There's so much in the DCCW now for me. I'm not as big of a fan as you that I'm not interested in watching all of it. I have to pick and choose what shows I want to watch out of there, and Stargirl's not one of those ones I want, even though if it moved there, it would probably boot another show out of the DCCW that I didn't want to watch. But I don't feel like Stargirl fits the DCCW tone. I know you feel like it does. I don't think it does. When I watch
think
Stargirl,
it does 100%.
See, I feel like I'm watching a totally different type of show when I'm watching Stargirl. And maybe it's because they haven't mentioned anything about anybody else in that universe before. Maybe it's because it's all new characters to me, live action. I'm not sure what it is, but I feel like if they move it to DCCW, it's going to bring the quality down. And I feel like they're going to stretch it out. And I don't want to see a season where you have the first 6 episodes where you figured out who the main bad guy is for the whole year. You have for the whole season, you have plot points set out and the characters are there. Then all of a sudden, for the next 15 episodes, nothing else is said about that. And it's all filler, and you have other villains that comes in. Then in the last few episodes of the season, that guy at the beginning comes back, the big bad comes back, and you deal with him. I don't want that. Like, I want a consistent story all the way through, and I feel like DCCW does too many episodes per season. I'm not saying I don't like all of it, but it's just too many sometimes. You know, like when I turn on Stargirl, I want to be interested in what's happening every time I watch that show. And I think HBO Max would be a better deal for that than it would DCCW. And you never know, HBO Max may do the same thing if they had it, where they made it 23 episodes. But I just think that's too long. I don't like that model DCCW does. And going into the last part of the question, yes, I do feel like it's gotten too big. I feel like DCCW built up, he's going to hate me for saying this for the comparison, DCCW built up like like MCU did in the movies, and they built up to one huge story, and then after that huge story, it's like, oh man, I need a break. I don't need all these new things coming out. Like, give me a break a little bit. Let's kind of reset the franchise, and that's kind of what they're doing with new shows coming out. But it's kind of like, for me, the way Marvel is. I'm not really interested in new stuff coming out on DCCW. Like, I'm not really interested in a lot of Marvel stuff coming out in the future. Like, I'm sure it's going to change when I start to see previews for it, when I find a little more information. But just right off the top, I saw that story. I saw Crisis on Infinite Earths. I saw Endgame. What happens next? Give me a breather. Give me a break. Give me some new stuff afterwards. But until I get to the point where I'm ready to see that, like, I see previews and storylines and everything, I'm not even really interested in finding out about it. You know, like, it's just, I don't know, maybe it's just me, and it very well could be, but I feel like they suffered the same thing. They got so big, not so quickly, they got so big that I feel like fans need a break after that point, you know, and I know a few people who feel that way. You know, they're just kind of waiting to see what comes out next before they get excited about anything in the future. So I don't want to see Stargirl on the CW, but she's going to be there anyway. So I'd rather see her there than not see her at all.
I'm going to try and quell some of your concerns.
All right.
As of now, no, like, the DCCW as it is does not know of the existence of Stargirl. As of now, they were shown on Crisis to have their own Earth. So, and right now, nobody on the DCCW thinks that you can travel between Earths. They think that they're the only Earth. Mm-hmm. So you may get that alone in its own vacuum for a while. I also want you to think back to how the first season of The Flash felt to you, because all those things you described about Stargirl, I feel them with Stargirl, but I also felt them with the first couple seasons, the first season of Flash.
Okay, I'll agree with you there, but then the Flash changed. I don't want Stargirl changed like that, you know?
Yes, I know, but after, like, when you tell the story of your most famous villain in your first season, it's kind of hard to go other places.
Yeah.
After that and be as impactful. So I feel like Flash's mistake was not focusing a lot on the rogues after Reverse Flash, and kind of let their most popular rogues go off onto to its own show. And I don't think that they even had a choice in that matter. So who knows, like, what the showrunners were working with there. But I'll say that some of the DC shows do what you said about, you can figure out by the 6th episode. But then there are some that actually do have a sub big bad and then a real big bad. And you don't learn about the sub real big bad until after you fight and defeat the sub big bad. But that's not every season or anything.
Right.
Like, they had Arrow for several seasons let you know who the main villain was at the mid-season finale. That was their big thing.
Yeah. Okay.
They did it with Malcolm in the first season, Deathstroke in the second season. You knew about Raj from the beginning in the third season, which arguably was a mistake as well.
Well, didn't you meet Deathstroke at the beginning? You met...
You met Slade on the island, but you had no idea he was coming back, because every time he spoke about him, it was like in the he's dead sense, because flashback, he thinks the last thing he did was drive a arrow through his eye rather than give him the cure and save him.
Okay, that makes sense.
So, I mean, I understand. I have those complaints. I'm one of those people that Greg was talking about. After Crisis, I was a little burnt out. Like, I kept with Arrow to finish it off. But The Flash really let me down. The last few seasons of The Flash have been pretty terrible, so I understand Gray's concerns here. But I think that you're just going to get a new era. I don't think that Flash is going to be on for many more seasons. I think you'll get a couple, but I think by season 10, that'll be it for them. So they're running.
Season 10? They're already on 6, aren't they?
7.
Are they on 7?
7.
Still almost 4 more years if you count this season. You know?
Yeah.
So
but I still, maybe I could be wrong, could be quicker. But
yeah,
I think that it's the perfect place to get more eyes on the character in the show is on CW.
And see, that's what I think the big issue with it is. I think that if you put it on CW as opposed to DC, the DC animated, the DC app or network or HBO Max, you get more consistent viewers that have access to see it. And I think that's what it's really all about. You know, it's kind of a money grab, which I understand. You want to make the most money out of your product, get the most viewers out of your product that you can. I just feel like you could put a better product out on HBO Max. So they're doing a pretty good job on the DC network, I feel. But once again, I don't know. Most people that I talk to about it don't even know what the DC network is. Like most people I meet in the world, like in real life, not like people I talk to online about this kind of stuff. Like people I meet in real life have no idea that there's even a network out there that the DC, has its own shows on there and comics and everything else. I'll tell them about it that are like fans of these shows and they like it and they look into it, but had no idea about it. It's not a very common thing for a person who's not as into this stuff to know that type of thing, I would feel. So it's kind of a marketing ploy, I think. But who knows?
I think I thought they knew they were going on CW ever since the third episode.
I heard rumors, but I don't know why they didn't make it official till now. Were they not going to make it official till they signed the second season?
No, I mean, like, they knew the first season was going on CW ever since they were making the third episode of the first season.
Okay.
So I think it's been more CW-centric. Like, they put more in that would be okay with CW, and not a lot has been cut from it because you get episodes on DCU that are cut normally. But, I mean, the past episode was 40 minutes, so I'm assuming all of it got aired on CW.
Oh, so you didn't see it. If it was on the DC app, you didn't see all of it?
No.
Is that what you're saying?
Well, the first, you saw it all on the DC app, but you saw an abbreviated version for the first two episodes on CW. Like,
I got you. Okay. Yeah, because the first two episodes were slightly longer. I got you.
Well, because they didn't know at the time that they were going from a streaming service to CW. But on the third episode, they found out and kind of catered it more towards that 40-minute network TV type constraint.
Put commercials in. Yeah, makes sense.
And rating and stuff. So I'm loving Stargirl. I think that might be. That was the last question. Thank you, Brent.
That was the last question.
I also think the CW is like still the best TV comic book universe ever. I think that it's been built fantastic, and you might get a couple misses, but you do that because they take the most shots that anybody takes.
That's right.
With comic book TV.
Yeah, I'll give you that. But that question actually segues us perfect into the next section we're going to talk about. We got two shows to talk about tonight, and we can go right into Stargirl with that. But before we do, let's take one more quick break, last one of the evening, and we'll be right back. And we're back. So here we go. Let's talk some Stargirl, man. We're going to talk about the Shiv Part 2. I do love doing this show on Mondays because we get to watch this fresh. Day it drops, we're watching it, we're reviewing it, so it's going to be out there tomorrow, and it's going to be pretty new stuff. But what'd you think about the new episode, Shiv Part 2? I mean,
really enjoyed it. Thought it was great.
Does it continue the trend that it's gone for you of every episode better than the last?
I don't know if this episode was better than the Shiv Part 1 or the previous episode before that, or just Justice Society, but I really enjoyed this episode. I loved it. I never thought for a second that I didn't enjoy it, so I have to rewatch to stack the episodes for me. But I loved the character development for everybody but Courtney, because I will talk about that at the very end.
Mm-hmm.
But I loved it. I thought Pat had a lot of time to shine. Beth, I thought, was fantastic. Finally, just great episode, and we got Icicle being his evil self, even if it's just for a little bit.
Yeah, well, it's definitely got a lot more character development on the villains now, or not necessarily the villains, the bad guys. I can't remember, but they're kids. I say, but they're kids now. It's focusing more on that, which lets you know that it's going to move onto them eventually. Like, and there's going to be a situation where the regular ISA is gone. There's going to be a new formation of that, just like there's a new JSA. And I think this season is going to end on a cliffhanger too. I don't think you're going to have any kind of resolution to anything at the end of the season, because we've only got 2 episodes. Is it 8 episodes or 10? I can't even remember. I think every week we talk about it, but I forget.
I think it's more than that.
Is it for the first season?
13 maybe.
Okay, well then we're about halfway through, so maybe you will get some resolution for it. But I was looking at
13 episodes.
Okay, well, maybe I'm wrong then. Not maybe I am wrong then. But I still think it's going to end on some kind of cliffhanger. I don't think there's going to be there might be a team formed at the end, for a full team formed for both sides, but I don't know I just see it walking into next season as, okay, we're dealing with what happened last season, like directly after that. It's not going to be a new story type deal. This episode was interesting because it started out with Pat crashing his car. When you saw that, did you know immediately what he was doing?
No idea. Thought he was being chased by something.
I knew immediately. I was like, he's trying to cover up her getting messed up last episode. I knew it immediately, and that's exactly what it ran into. He's smart. If she's going to be that messed up, you got to have some kind of reason. So he crashes the Buick. Yeah, crashes the Buick. I thought it was cool that Pat actually wants to tell. Is it Barbara, the mother?
Yeah.
He wants to tell her what's going on, which I feel like the fact that they said that it's going to happen. Probably in the next episode or two, and we're going to get more of a revelation about who her father really is, because it's still never been confirmed about who her father is.
I think that it's not going to be. I think that Barbara's going to find out, and it's not going to be Pat or Courtney that tells her. I think that's going to infuriate her.
Okay. There were a lot of superheroes that were losing their secret identities in this one.
Well, that's it. When you had Pat should take some blame running in and saying, Courtney.
In his defense, he didn't know she was getting her ass beat as Stargirl. He just was looking for his stepdaughter, But I guess he should have thought ahead,
Yeah, Ray picked her up. So,
yeah.
I really enjoyed this. Like I said, Pat wants to tell Barbara. Pat wants to tell Barbara. Sorry, I had a glitch there.
I was wondering what happened. Yeah.
And it's like Sydney has out with her father, and like I love how Beth actually calms down Rick and Yolanda and comes up with an actual plan. Not that it's fantastic or anything, but they do learn stuff. So I really thought that Beth really shined in this episode, and maybe one of our buddies might not think she's so useless and hates her as much after this episode.
Oh yeah. I thought it was cool when Sydney was confronting her dad. How they were fighting, going back and forth, and then the last thing he says is, "Don't make me take my mask off." And which makes me think, oh man, that must be pretty bad, and it's going to happen. At some point in time, because he said that it's going to happen. It's going to be really interesting to see how they do that. Let's see. So Rick and Yolanda and Beth want to avenge what happened to Courtney. They realize at this time that Cindy is Shiv, right?
Yeah.
And they think that she doesn't know who Courtney is.
Yeah.
Right? Okay. So that's pretty easy to figure out.
What'd you think about Mike apologizing to Courtney and they have a great brother and sister moment? I really thought that was earned after several episodes.
Yeah, I thought that was pretty cool. What did they call the pizza bites? The Pizza Palooza bites or something like that? Gave them the last ones.
We call them pizzaronis here.
We call them pizza rolls. Or what? No, what? I don't know. I don't even. I can't. I think they're pizza rolls. I don't know. But yeah, it looked exactly like them. I thought it was cool how Pat had the one-on-one with the staff.
Yeah, that was funny.
Got no response from the staff, but do you think the staff? Well, obviously the staff.
Well, it lit up after he left. Mm-hmm. Pat was like, "You're losing it here, Pat. You're talking to the staff."
Oh yeah. The scene with Icicle, where so the real reason he's going on this trip is to confront that guy, right?
Yeah.
So, but he's got it in disguise that he's going to go purchase this land, whatever they're doing. I can't even remember where he's taking Barbara with him. And him and Barbara are getting real close.
Yeah.
Not gonna lie, I'd be a little upset in that situation. I would. I mean, it's not like fighting words, but it's definitely words that need to be said.
Really? You're gonna say stuff on your glass house of training her, not even your daughter, training her only daughter to fight crime and be a superhero, and you're going to say, I don't like that you're spending a little bit of extra time at work with this dude?
That's apples and oranges right there. That's two totally different things right there. Your wife going out with a man with a romantic dinner.
She's on the up and up with him the entire time.
That's true.
She's telling him, yeah, he asked me to stay late to work on this project, and yeah, he asked me to go work on this other project outside the city, and Pat's like, thumbs up, so I can go lie to you about your daughter.
Okay, in the overall picture, yes, you're right. But the thing is, well, no, never mind. No, Anyway, Icicle goes there. His main reason is to go to find the guy. And actually, the speech he gave to that guy, he's not actually wrong at all. He's almost kind of doing the right thing, just the wrong way of doing it. You know, I mean, this guy is killing people with what he's doing, and he's doing it for profit. He's doing it without any remorse of anything that happens, and doesn't seem to care at all. He's just wanting to make his money. I mean, obviously going about it, we're murdering him is not the best way to handle that situation, but Icicle's mind is not wrong in this for how he feels about how wrong this guy is, especially with it being his wife that was killed because of it. You know?
Great thing about shows, really good shows, Greg, is they make you feel for the villain and understand the villain's motives instead of just thinking he's just pure evil. Like when he spoke about his wife's death to that man, like I actually felt for him during that, and I wasn't at all sad when he killed Buddy. I just was like, oh, there he goes killing another person.
Yeah.
Now, when he killed the boy, really didn't like that. Really didn't endear himself to me.
Right. But makes, well, I won't say makes up for it. It's a different light right now.
It just adds more to him, to his story. Yeah.
Makes his character a little deeper. Henry discovers a telekinetic ability. I thought was pretty cool. Found a random key. So why was he going in his dad's drawer for headache medicine? Like, why would he just know randomly he keeps it there?
Maybe his dad said a headaches runs in the family.
Maybe.
Kind of deal.
Okay.
Then he just went there. I don't know. They didn't explain that part. But I did love how he dropped the pills and made one levitate. And I love him discovering his powers.
Yes.
Just enjoyed that all to a T.
Yeah. And let's see what after that's the scene where it's cool at the same time that Cindy is going to Courtney's house to talk to her. Beth is going to Cindy's house not to talk to her, but to find out information about it. And they both Cindy already knows. She doesn't discover anything, but Beth and them discover a whole lot. So real quick, let's talk about the Cindy and Courtney thing. I thought it was crazy when she first came in, and they went through the whole friendship thing, and then they sat down and ate the box of chocolates, or really Cindy ate most of the chocolates, or the ones she liked, and being the kind of bitch that she is. I thought the whole time, I was like, she doesn't know. And I was like, how does she not know? I was like, one, it's just the mask, but I know superheroes' masks are kind of crazy. I mean, you cannot see Superman's Clark Kent just because he takes his glasses off, which I always thought was really silly. but it's just the way superheroes work and masks work until the very end when she's walking out and she's like, I like your staff. That's how you know right there. That was crazy.
Yeah, that was great. I was saying to myself, Greg, like, are you kidding me? You don't know that is her, Cindy? Like the blonde hair doesn't give it away, the hairstyle and everything.
Oh yeah.
With curls, but loved how she revealed it like that. She obviously has not had a great childhood. Great bringing up. Her father brings up, like, obviously she definitely probably had a hand in killing her mother.
Oh, I think she's the exact reason. Yeah.
And she keeps thinking her father's thrown that in her face. I just couldn't believe that she didn't know at first. I was like, so you didn't hear Pat run up and say, Courtney, when you were trying to get out of there? Like, that didn't hit her, and obviously it did. And she threatens Courtney's friends, which, what a way to leave. Loved it.
Well, it makes you wonder, does she know the other one's identity? Does she know Hourman and Wildcat's identity?
I don't think so, yeah.
She just knows that she has friends, that she's not alone. Yeah. Stargirl's not alone, okay. And this is Cindy. That's Cindy leaves, and that's when Courtney starts texting real quick. And I noticed that she would text him and then wait like 1.5 seconds, then text him again, then wait like 1.5 seconds, and text him again with question marks, like, answer me. And I'm like, you got to give him time to look at the phone and answer. But I mean, obviously, movie, they were trying to speed things up. When she left there to go confront Cindy after that, was that the first time you saw her with red gloves? Because she had her hands cut? So she wasn't wearing red gloves before, but she's wearing red gloves now. I think so,
yeah.
Okay. But before it gets to that point, that's when the scene with Beth, and I know we were talking about this earlier in the chat about how Beth, has a little more gumption in this one. She's a little braver in this one. Still not there yet, but much braver than she was before.
She has no powers though. The other one's like
very true.
Mrs. gets like agility and strength of Wildcat. Like the other guy gets superpowers for superhuman strength for 1 hour, and she just got glasses that gives you tech.
He wasted his hour just to catch her. I mean, I get that. You want to save her life, but I would just let her fall on me. I mean, I could have caught her. It's only a story up. I can catch somebody from that high. Maybe. Maybe.
Break,
I don't know.
yeah, our man breaks his leg catching woman and can't participate in JSA for 2
No.
months.
See, I don't think that far ahead. It probably wouldn't make a good superhero.
Uh,
My thought would have been like, I don't want to waste the hour right now, but
I loved her. I thought the Pat and Sydney's mother, air quotes, scenes were kind of a little bit, by the end it got a little too much.
Mhm.
But I still kind of enjoyed it. I love how Beth got into like the catacombs and heard what I think is Grundy
yeah, had to have been. I don't even
and
figure out like that.
was like, nope, I'm out of here.
Mhm.
But then it shows also how tough and badass Sydney is. That when she walked by and Grundy growled, she just told him to basically shut up.
Mhm.
So
Yeah, she's
just-
definitely
just-
tough, man.
just love it. And they actually find a picture of Sydney's father, and they find out he's 120 years old.
Shiro
That's what
Ito,
Yeah,
right?
Dr. Ito and Pat really got a worried look on his face when he sees that picture.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, because they talked about the chemical weapons he developed and all kinds of different stuff. So he's a dangerous guy. I mean, obviously he's a dangerous guy. He invented or created his quote unquote wife up there right now, and that's another thing too. I think she's very lonely. I don't think he ever comes upstairs. I think he's always downstairs in the lair, and she's just up there as to put a facade that's family life up there.
Well,
Type
it was
deal.
shown in the goggles, like barely anything in the cupboards, barely
Mhm.
like you said, she's just there as a facade. I wonder, like she wasn't even coming up as any matches on any database. So I'd say he just, like you said, put a few people together.
Yeah.
And
Well, then it goes to the last scene, man, or the last fight, and I thought this was an awesome fight. I thought it was really cool how Stargirl catches Shiv totally by surprise, busts through her window, comes in 100 miles an hour. Looked really, really cool. I mean, she was coming for blood, even though it doesn't look like you can. I want to find out more about her regenerative powers.
yeah,
Because if I had a choice, that would be a definite one I'd put on a list. Is regenerative powers that quickly, especially. But they had a really good fight, and Henry actually sees him in this fight. And what do you think about his reaction to it?
first off, I want to say that I love the fight scene, but in terms of character development, a little disappointed in Courtney.
Yeah.
Considering she just told Pat beforehand, I will not go off by myself anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And what did she immediately do?
First thing. Well, in her defense, she thought she was going to go defend them. Right?
I mean, she could, like you said before, she could have waited a little more than
2 seconds.
10 or 20 seconds
Yeah.
for a total of 3 text messages. Who are you? My parents that would text me 3 times and then not get an answer and call me or come to me.
Mm-hmm.
Like
That's a good point.
She not a good teammate. She still got to learn to be part of a team. Look at what they do, operating as a team.
Mm-hmm.
Figure out who Sydney's father is. Figure out another member of the ISA. Whereas Courtney runs in head first, not smart, gives us a badass fight scene that I love, but putting herself at risk again. She was getting ready to be killed. If it probably wasn't for, like you said, Henry showing up, and Henry like hearing your thoughts so much, it caused him to have like expulsion of brain energy, I guess we'll call it.
Big brain fart.
And send both of them flying, and then Dr. Ito people takes Sydney down into the sewers, and we figure out that he's watching, and he figures out that Harvey has powers.
Yeah.
Harvey.
Yeah. It's funny because Stargirl hasn't been able to win a fight she's been in yet. Like every fight she's been in, she would have lost and or been killed had the fight just continued to go, or Pat didn't show up, or Henry didn't show up, or Shining Knight didn't show up, which, by the way, I was a little irritated we didn't get anything else on him this episode. After the way he comes in and saves the day last episode, and I guess if you don't know that character, I had to look him up, so I don't say I knew the character. You have no idea what that is. It's just kind of hanging in the background. Like, I want to see more about what's going on with that, and I feel like, of course, we're going to in the future. But Pat didn't see that, did he?
No.
He saw Pat, but Pat didn't see him, so Pat has no idea he's there. And Courtney didn't see it either because she was knocked out.
Yeah.
Right? So the only person who saw it was Cindy, or Shiv, whatever you call it.
Yeah.
Which has an awesome suit, by the way. I like the suit.
Yeah, really nice.
You see her father called it a graduation suit?
Yeah.
I'm wondering if he means like she had to go through some tests to make the ISA, and that was her graduation into the program
Well,
or
I
something.
think
I'm not
that's
sure.
what he meant, that he was going to give her the suit when she graduated to the ISA. But
Okay.
after what he said in this episode, he don't think she's ever going to get to the ISA.
I don't know. Pretty sure she's going to be the leader of the new one.
Well, the new one maybe, but not this current one.
Yeah. Oh yeah. But yeah, man, that's about all the key points that happened in that episode that I can think of. You got anything else you want to point out about it?
No, just really enjoyed it. Can't wait for next Monday.
Oh yeah. They don't give out the name of the episode for next Monday yet, have they?
Yeah.
They did?
Yeah.
What is it?
Brainwave.
Oh, that's right. They did give it out. I forgot to
And
write it
then
down.
next one after that is Brainwave Junior.
Mm.
And then the one after that is called Shining Knight.
Oh, okay. So he is coming back. Good deal. All right. So not long. 3 weeks. He'll be there. Brainwave and Brainwave Junior. That'll be interesting. I wonder if he's going to survive. If Brainwave, the adult Brainwave, is going to survive.
I got a feeling Courtney might try and get Brainwave Junior on her side.
It's
And
possible.
I don't think it's going to go over well, especially with Yolanda.
I don't think it's going to go over well because I don't think he likes her very much. He saw him walking away in the hospital when she was leaving the hospital, and she said just tried to say hey to him, and first thing he did was sit up and shut the door. Which I get, he's probably going through a lot right now. He may not want to talk to anybody, but it doesn't seem like he likes her very much. You know? But yeah, man, I'm super excited for this show. Like I said, 13 episodes. I thought it was less than that, so I'm even more excited now. I get to see even more of it. But I don't want to go much further than 13 because that's when you start to get into real filler stuff. But this is the first season. I'm sure they're not going to get to that point. But really, really fun show. I'm enjoying it. If you're not watching Stargirl, you shouldn't have listened to that whole review, but you should definitely check it out. It's a great show.
Yeah, it's a great show.
But one more great show to talk about tonight, and that is Doom Patrol Season 2. I'm enjoying Doom Patrol more and more and more as I continue to watch it. It's especially when you give me episodes that are absolutely knuck and futz like this one, you know? I mean, the name of it was Sex Patrol. And I'm not going to lie, the whole time that I was watching the episode, up until about the last 15 minutes, I was like, why is this episode called Sex Patrol? Like, it just doesn't make much sense to me. But then it kind of reveals itself later on. So walk us into this one, man. Like, just overall view, and we'll kind of go through it.
How do I walk anybody into this episode, Greg? Like, this is absolutely nuts. I think I took the least amount of notes I took for any episode this year in this episode. Like, it's not even a full page because I was just basically that GIF of Robot Man that goes around. That what the F?
Right.
I was basically that the entire time. Like, we get a shot early on showing that like Dorothy was in Danny the street down under, basically kept like a prisoner. So she wouldn't hurt anybody, and that was for a very long time, obviously, because the chief dropped her off there in 1978.
Right.
So,
and they don't really hint at that point that she's a prisoner. You just know she's on Danny the street, and you see as Niles is walking away, Danny's telling her, he's like, you know, daughters neither fathers. You don't find out till later that she's down there the whole time listening to everybody party on Danny the street the whole time. She's never seen it before. So that's when she starts to get to develop the idea in her mind that she's a prisoner, which she kind of was, you know. She's not entirely wrong in this episode.
No, and it's also cool to see that the painter took the role of primary for Jane after she disobeyed the grand collective of the underground. And
Scarlet Harlot was her name.
That was another personality. You're talking about the one in the dance floor.
Oh, I thought the painter was Scarlet Harlot.
No,
okay, well,
several personalities took over as the primary, and all of them couldn't handle it, resulting in them leaving and giving, by the end of this episode, giving Jane control back.
Yeah, I mean, it was the painter was what, the hangman's daughter is what they called her. That was her name. Yeah. So, and then Scarlet Harlot, and then I think she was the last one before Jane came back, right?
No, there was the rough and tumble one was the one that defeated the weird six-man. Can't remember what his name is now.
Yeah, I know you're talking about. I can't remember the name right now either. Somebody screaming at us. Nathan's screaming at us.
Shadowy Mr. Evans.
Okay.
That's what his name was.
Okay. Yeah, the Scarlet Heart look was very different than any other kind of Jane look that you saw. Like, gotta admit, the guy in me, I saw that and I was like, wow, that character can play a ton of roles and look a ton of different ways. Not saying she's not beautiful beforehand, but man, that was an amazing looking character. I was like, holy crap, they've taken the show to a whole nother level. But I mean, the name of the show, this episode was Sex Patrol, so I guess they kind of got to put that out there like that.
They also had the personality that was in, I want to say maybe, can't remember what episode it was now. Oh, it's driving me crazy. The one that could like make anybody do what they want just by telling them.
The blue-eyed one.
Yeah, she came out for a bit there.
Yeah, dude, it's crazy the what they've done with Jane in these episodes, and you get to get Cliff back too, which is the dynamic with Cliff and Jane's always been great, but they're kind of separated almost this whole episode. I love
Cliff
how
was on ecstasy this entire episode.
Yes, that was so cool. I love how he's actually talking with Niles and he's talking about what happened with his daughter, which we touched on that last episode, but he handled that totally the wrong way. But he's back here and he realizes that he just messed up, and he just he's saying, I just want to get out of my own mind for a little while. Like, I can't feel anything. I just want to get out of my mind. And that was pretty cool whenever Niles was like, well, I could put some ecstasy in your nutrient tank, which, if your life's like that, why not? What else do you got to lose?
Next scene, he's like,
yeah, I'm a robot doing the robot.
Oh, I actually wrote that down.
Yeah.
Just a robot doing the robot.
Yep. But there was a good relationship between Dorothy and Flex. There was that one moment where the whole scene is kind of going X hours before bedtime, and then 2 hours before bedtime, and then bedtime, then after bedtime, and so it's kind of giving you a timestamp for everything that's happening. And when the whole Danny Street party gang gets to the house, they're going to start to try this party, and I loved the dynamic with Flex and Dorothy. Like, that was such an awesome dynamic, man. Obviously he's not her father, but that was such nice. That was kind of a nice daddy-daughter moment, like that's the kind of things you need to do for little girls. Like, he told her how pretty she was, and he helped her out, made her smile, man. And I was like, oh, made me love the character a whole lot more. Like, I like Flex a whole lot more after this episode than I did before.
To add on to your sentiment there, Gray, I also enjoyed Rita and Dorothy bonding, doing the makeup, and Rita saying that everybody's beautiful and putting lipstick on her. Same thing, really enjoyed it. Loved Flex as well. I loved how he was helping Rita clear her mind. And Rita kept seeing the block of watching what her mother had to do to get her to star in a movie.
The Forrest Gump moment.
Yeah.
The Forrest Gump, man. And I didn't think about that before. The first time you see it, because they kind of hint at it, you just see somebody having sex with somebody. You don't realize what's going on. You think maybe that's what's blocking Rita's mind. Maybe she did that to get ahead. But then it gives you the flashback where you see that it was actually her mother. And she was like, the director's coming here. Does that mean I got the part? And she was like, no, you're going to get the part. And she was like, well, I can sing, I can dance. Okay, yeah, producer. Yeah, it might have been. But she was like, well, I could sing, I could dance, I could do this. She was like, no, you don't need to do any of that. I can get the part for you. And I was like, oh, no.
Yeah.
I know where this is going.
Doom Patrol don't hide, don't pull any punches. And
they really, really
like
don't.
You said, that snowballs into the sex bin. Basically, the Ghostbusters of sex.
Yeah, before that though, that's what brings that on is Rita. Rita basically just wants to get that. I mean, what brings on those memories is Rita. Rita wants to get off, pretty much, right?
Well, Flex tells her that to use his powers, because he's showing off throughout the episode of how really good he is at his powers, just by flexing certain muscles. And she asked him, like, how did you get so good at developing your powers? He said, all you gotta do is clear your mind. And she was like, my mind hasn't been cleared since the last time we were on Danny Street and you flexed and gave me an orgasm. So
the only thing I don't understand about that is clearly that's not true, because that was the end of last season, or there was like 3 episodes left after that season, and through this whole season she's been developing her powers to the point where even last episode she could use them really well, and now all of a sudden for some reason she just can't use them.
No, she couldn't. They've been laying the groundwork as she's been learning and not getting very good with it. Cyborg, she couldn't stretch out, grab anything. She stretched out for a second and it flopped. And then Cyborg left and stopped teaching her. And then she had nobody else helping her. And then when Larry was in distress, she was able to use her powers to help him. That was the only time. And she tries to do that menial task and can't get it done. So clearly there's a block here, and we see why she can't focus, because she has this traumatic experience that she hasn't dealt with.
Right. Well, I did want to point out too, before Dorothy goes to bed, her singing that song was beautiful, and the one that woke Danny Street's heart up, got it beaten again. Perfect, man. That was awesome. She got to do that. Really, really cool. But yeah, back to what we were saying is now Rita is trying to is going to snowball into the Sex Patrol, which is awesome. It's the Ghostbusters of sex. The look, everything. Who was it? It was I wrote the names down.
Lieutenant Kiss, Lieutenant Torture, and
Cuddles.
Yeah,
Cuddles, which is crazy. They have the big back straps on their back. You know what was funny is they had the big back straps on their back, right? And they don't use it until the very, very last second, actually, after the villain's kind of already defeated.
Yeah.
You know, which kind of blew my mind. The whole time they're going through there, they could have been using these things, and they weren't. So I didn't know what was going on with that. But does it give you any kind of indication who that guy was? I mean, I know you said Edward the Shadow or something like that.
Shadowy Mr. Evans.
Shadowy Mr. Edmonds. Okay, but it doesn't tell you that. Like you see Rita trying to have an orgasm.
They say it to them, and
okay, I must have missed that.
Cliff was like, "Oh my God, I danced with it."
Oh yeah, that's right.
Shadowy Mr. Evans. He was like,
That's
I
right.
danced with a shadow. Like Spiffy did dance with him. So
yeah,
they did mention it just once, though, Greg. Not enough really to hammer it home.
yeah. And they wanted Cliff to go in there to try to stop him because he's the only one who couldn't have an orgasm, which made sense. Which I don't know why he didn't.
Hammerhead was the one I remember. Hammerhead
yep.
was the personality that defeated him because Cliff was like, Hammerhead for the win.
Yeah, yeah, that was pretty cool. And I didn't know what she was going to do. I was watching it, and the whole premise was the baby comes out. When the baby cries, all the children of the earth will die, and it'll be only adults, and it'll be nothing but sex, and the rest of the world. It was really, really weird. And when I saw that, I was like, oh no, what are they going to do to this baby? What are they going to do to this baby? Because I know, like you said, Doom Patrol doesn't pull any punches, man. And it was Hammerhead. And I was like, what is she going to do to this baby? I didn't want to see her rip the baby's head off. I didn't want to see her kill the baby in some kind of way. Nope. She just shoves it right back up that guy, which is kind of weird that it was a guy having the baby. But, I mean, it's Doom Patrol. It happens like that. Interesting way to defeat the villain. You know, all you had to do was...
Really interesting.
And then, of course, there's just the sex ghosts that are just having random sex in a bunch of different positions, floating around, doing all kinds of stuff. And that's when, finally, the Sex Patrol is like, I got this, and goes out and handles stuff, which I just blew my mind. They weren't doing any of that beforehand. They were just kind of standing and watching, you know?
Well, I think the guy ended up having an orgasm.
Right. He tried to go in, but I would think their gun could shoot from there. I mean, it's got to have some kind of range to it, you know?
I think so, too.
But I never saw him do it, so I can't say anything. And I don't have one of those guns, one of those sex guns, so... You know.
Ultimately, we hear the candle maker talking to Dorothy some more, and it seems like he's trying to take control. She even mentions earlier that he has never talked this much before.
Yeah, and it does seem kind of weird because it's the candle maker and what's the other one's name? Herschel, right?
Herschel, yeah.
Herschel. He's the spider, right?
Yeah.
And it seems like Herschel's kind of there more to protect her, to be her friend. He wants her to be a kid and lay down. Yeah. But they hit on this episode a couple times that she's 103 years old, so while she may be a kid, she's really not a kid. And she just is kind of wondering what's going on up there. She wants to be an adult. And I think she even takes the drink off the table as soon as she breaks her dad's rule and goes to the party. She takes one drink off the table and kind of spits it out, and you even see Danny tell her, that's an adult drink. You shouldn't be doing that, and it's bedtime. And that was when she asked the big question, man, which kind of broke my heart. And she was like, you know, was I your friend or was I your prisoner? And he didn't say he wasn't her friend, but he says he wishes he could only say he was her friend. Like, you were my prisoner type deal. And that's got to hurt if you're her, man. I'm interested to see how that's going to happen in the next episode, what's going to go on with that. Because it seemed like the way this one closed out was the candle maker, she tried to talk to him, and he pretty much gave her a big fuck you. He was like, you know, don't talk to me, whatever. Which is weird because he did what she said to do, right? So why would he be mad at her? The candle maker.
I don't know. I think he just wants to take control. I think it's kind of a ploy.
That's true. Yeah, it could be. I don't know, man. It's going to be interesting to see what happens.
I'm the only one that was here for you from the entire time, and you don't really care as much.
Mm-hmm. Dude, I have no idea how to predict what's going on with this show next. Like, no idea.
Same.
I looked up the next episode, and I didn't write it down, of course, about what the name of the next episode was. I can't remember what it was.
Give me 2 seconds. Finger Patrol.
What is it?
Finger Patrol.
After Sex Patrol, I don't know if I want to watch an episode called Finger Patrol. Just to be honest with you, I don't know what it's going to be, especially with the way this show's going. But yeah, man, this show is absolutely insane. Like I said, I didn't like the first season much. Second season's getting a whole lot better, and I just know to go in there with no expectations of normalcy on the show.
It's backers. It's crazy, but I really enjoy it. It's just I plug my mind for 50 minutes and just watch Doom Patrol.
Yeah, I don't honestly know if I'd be interested in reading a book like this. I mean, I think I'd start to read it and be like, it's not that interesting. Watching it in live action is a little different, I feel. But and maybe I would, I don't know. But I don't know if I'd be able to read a book like this. So I know some people love it, but everybody's got different kind of tastes. So, but yeah, man, that's about it. That's all I got for Doom Patrol, Sex Patrol. Was it episode 5 or 6?
4.
4? No way.
Yeah. They dropped 3 initially.
Uh-huh.
And this was the 4th.
What? Why am I so off with numbers?
I don't know. But little concerning giving you work in the postal.
Maybe that's what it is. Maybe I have to remember multiple, hundreds and thousands, not hundreds and thousands, but thousands of numbers a day, and maybe that's
packages ended up in 48, like 48A when they're supposed to be 28B in apartments, and
not on my watch.
Anarchy.
Not on my watch. but yeah, man, it's a good show. Like I said, highly recommend checking it out. Love Doom Patrol, but I got nothing else this week, man. We've hit our mark. We are covered everything we want to. Oh, I did want to point out that we did have a discussion about the superhero deep dive thing we did last week. I enjoyed doing it. I think we enjoyed doing it. I got some good feedback on it. That's going to be a bi-weekly thing for us. That gives us the opportunity to have the voting go through and then have a week to be able to do the research we want to do for that character. That way we don't have to do the research in 2 days because we both have other lives, other podcasts. We're both very busy. So that's going to be a bi-weekly thing. So we will continue that next week. I got to go back and check the numbers, but I think it's Dr. Fate and Deathstroke are the 2 characters. I think I'll be doing Deathstroke. Travis will be doing Dr. Fate. And we'll have a structure for that. So that we put it up there. That'll be a bi-weekly thing. So we're covering this. Okay. Bi-weekly thing for the show. I hear. But yeah, man, I got nothing else. You want to go ahead and sign out?
Yeah, sure thing, man. Just also thank the people for the questions. Short notice, but again, major thanks.
Oh yeah, always, man. We love questions. It makes a lot of the show. So, where can they find you, buddy?
Find me on Twitter at Travis_156. You can drop me a line and we can chat about anything DC related or pretty much anything comic book related as well. I host a show with Greg called Superhero Discussions that drops every Friday. We're hammering out Superman the animated series now, focusing on the 2nd season. Starting to get a little good. We're going to get a team up in a few weeks that I think Greg will really, really, really enjoy, and that was marketed as kind of a movie. So
yeah, I can see that.
Be really excited for that. That drops every Friday. And also we have a Patreon account. $1 a month just lets us keep the lights on, show us some love. $5 a month gets you extra goodies like on no ads in your episodes, and you also get early access to episodes. We're trying to do some more Patreon specific content, or at least that stays on Patreon for a while before it drops to new regular listeners. So I know Chris has something that he wants to do with us at DCA, talking about DCAU. So we're going to get on that soon. And me and Greg want to do a BVS to Justice League timeline to show what actually happened, because there are some people that still don't know and think that they're just dropping money into this Justice League thing with no context whatsoever. So we'll like to get on that as well.
Teach them. That's right. We will teach.
Greg has some time off coming up, so there may be some morning Patreon recordings.
Very, very possible, man. Got about 7 more days off in a row, which is not normal for me at all. But it's my yearly bit.
Geek Ultimate Alliance.
Check it out.
You can find that on Patreon. You can also find that on your podcatcher of choice. Thanks for listening, everybody, and have a great one.
Yeah, well, real quick, they can find me at the BatDaddy52 on Twitter if you want to talk to me personally.
Give him my see ya.
You can find me at the BatDaddy52 on Twitter. You can check out this show at DC Alliance Pod C1 on Twitter if you want to talk to the show. If you find my handle, you can find the show handle very easily. Go to Geek Ultimate Alliance handle. You can find us there too. You can also find me and Travis and Chris Balga and Katie and Nathan and a bunch of other people and guests all the time, every Friday night live 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on YouTube on the Super Civil Servants podcast. We covered, what did we cover last week? We covered Indiana Jones and the Raiders of the Lost Ark as our season review, and then talked some more about Doom Patrol, a whole bunch of other good DC stuff. But Stargirl. Yeah, we don't really have limits there. We talk about just about anything we want to. We try to keep this show focused on DC, so we do talk about other stuff. Check us out, though, live Fridays at YouTube, interact with the chat, and then the show drops on Monday anywhere you can find a podcast. Then you can also find me live on Tuesdays at 9 p.m. if you want to hear me talk some sports and Panthers football. YouTube, check me out, interact with the chat room. Show drops the next day, I believe, anywhere you can find a podcast. So lots of places to find all of us. You can listen to us all week long if you wanted to. Could be fun. So until next week, man, I'm out of here.